How are those sales going, Banks?
Not bad, Doc. Just made another 12 this hour.
I knew there was something special about you the minute you stepped off that train, kid.
Say, Doc, this new office is great and all, but aren't we a bit crowded in this room?
You'll get used to it, kiddo.
It's just that in New York, I wasn't...
Well, this isn't New York, as I'm sure you've noticed by now. Anyway, George wants to see you in his office ASAP.
I see. Thanks for letting me know.
Alfie, good to see you. Please come in. How do you like the new office?
It's a bit crowded, but much nicer looking than the one downtown.
The success of Coral Gables isn't going to be about money or sales. It's about aesthetics.
Well, you've certainly gone above and beyond in that department, sir.
There's no need to be so formal. We're all a big family here. Please call me George.
Fair enough. What was it you wanted to see me about, George?
Ah, yes, of course. I'm giving you a very special assignment. We've been doing fantastic with sales thus far, but I've decided to try a new approach. I'm calling the project State Days. Each week, we'll bring down a group of people by bus from a different state. But it won't just be enough to show them around. We need something more, a spectacle.
What kind of spectacle?
Ah, this is where you come in. I want you to ask around, see if you can find some sort of performer or show that will impress the crowds.
I really wouldn't know where to begin.
You're a resourceful young fellow. I'm sure you'll find something. Which reminds me. Here you are, the keys to your own company car. It should make getting around town much easier.
No fooling? My own car?
It's cheaper for us to have you drive yourself around rather than pay for taxi rides. You can drive, can't you?
Well, I admit it's been a while.
Just take care not to run into any ditches and you should be fine. Oh, and also, this telegram arrived for you this morning. I was going to send it along with my secretary, but you got here first. Now get to it. I've got a group from New York coming in 2 days, and I want some entertainment for them.
I'm on it. Hey, Doc.
Howdy, Banks.
Everything going well for the development?
Not well, no. Things are going gangbusters. We're expanding every day and getting ever closer to the big project.
Big project?
Oh, don't you worry. That will be revealed very soon.
How are things going for you?
Not bad, not bad. Although, being cooped up in this office is starting to get to me. I'm itching to get back out into the field again. Oh, which reminds me, are you doing anything later today? I could use your help with something.
I should have a little time available. What sort of help did you have in mind?
I'm going to be conducting a demonstration for some prospective buyers, and I need a volunteer. But in order to keep things under control, I can't just pick any old egg. I need a plant.
So you want me to be your volunteer?
If you'd be so kind. I'll have my cart set up in a field near the corner of Granada and Bird. Drop by this afternoon and I'll give you more details.
Better hit the bricks.
Righto.
Got a moment, Wilson?
Of course, Banks. What can I do for you?
What's that you're working on?
Oh, I'm just getting a few reports transcribed for Mr. Merrick.
Reports?
Yeah, you know, the reports you all have to do after making a sale or interviewing a potential client. The ones you're required to do.
Oh, sure, those, of course. Things around here seem to be shaping up pretty nicely, wouldn't you say?
They certainly seem to be, Banks. They certainly seem to be.
See you around. So what's this all about?
The future, my boy, the future!
And what will I be doing exactly?
You're going to be my plant in the crowd, but there's one last thing I need before we're ready to go.
What's that?
I seem to have misplaced my model streetcar, or maybe I left it back at the sales office. Could you go have a look while I finish setting up?
I'm on it. Got a moment, Wilson?
Of course, Banks. What can I do for you?
Say, you've been around all morning. Did you happen to notice a model streetcar on Doc's desk?
Oh,
Is something wrong?
Banks, you have to promise me you won't say anything.
All right, mum's the word. What's the problem?
When Doc left earlier, I noticed the model streetcar on his desk. I went to get it so I could go after him and let him know he left it behind. But I accidentally knocked it on the floor and, well, the little antenna it had on it broke off. I feel terrible about it, but there's nothing I can do.
Oh, is that all? Don't worry about it. Let me have the model and I'll see about fixing it. And don't worry, Doc will be none the wiser.
Thank you, Banks. I owe you one.
See you around.
There he is!
Beauregard, how nice to see you.
Oh, why so formal, Alfred? Aren't you glad to see your brother?
Of course, I just wish I'd had a bit more of a warning is all.
Oh, come on. Who needs warnings with family? Anyway, let's have a seat. I was about to chew my own arm off waiting for you. So, tell me what you've been up to.
I've been doing fairly well, to be honest. I managed to get hired by George Merrick my first day down here.
Well, ain't that just the berries? That your heap out there?
Yes, I was given a company car this morning.
Hate to imagine what company it's been keeping.
What's that supposed to mean?
I just figured a high-profile guy like Merrick could afford something nicer, is all.
I'm working on an assignment at the moment.
Oh yeah? What?
I've been put in charge of finding a spectacle to sell lots to people coming in from out of town.
No kidding. Sounds like fun.
It's not fun, it's work.
So, who's to say work can't be fun?
You've never worked a day in your life, Bo. How would you know?
Are you gonna start with that baloney again?
Fair point. Anyhow, I have yet to find anything suitable.
Well, if it helps, I overheard that guy over there talking about how his wife was a wing walker or something. Might be something worth looking into.
You know, it just might. Thank you, Bo. Why don't you tell me what you've been up to?
Not too much, really. I've kind of been in a rut, to tell the truth. I feel like I could use a change.
Why don't you go to work for the company?
Morris is still peeved at what happened with you. He hasn't been very receptive.
Oh. Look, about that.
You don't have to explain yourself, Alfie. I know you couldn't possibly have done what he says you did. Whatever really happened, you're better off having left that place.
Thank you, Bo. I appreciate your support. It's been great catching up with you, Bo, but I really should get going. How long are you planning on being in town for?
Well, actually, I was considering moving down here too.
Really? You're gonna leave Mother alone?
She'll be fine. She's got plenty of friends in the neighborhood. Besides, it's gotten to the point where I'm feeling like more of a burden than a help.
And she's actually letting little baby Beau come down here on his own?
Knock it off, will ya? She doesn't mind it so much knowing you're here. Anyway, I'll be here if you get any more time off today.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Hey, Beau.
Alfie! What's going on?
This is a quaint little place. I've never been here myself.
It is, isn't it? Kinda reminds me of the one back home we used to go to.
I can see it, sure. But all these diners tend to look the same after a while.
There's something about this one. I don't know how to describe it, but it feels special somehow.
Why don't you get a job here?
I just might, actually.
Really? I was just pulling your leg. You're telling me you actually want to work?
Is it that hard to believe?
To be perfectly frank, yes. What's made you change your mind?
Leaving the city, coming down here, I guess it's just made me realize I need to be independent.
How's Mother doing?
She's okay. Coping. Like I said, she's got friends who keep her company.
It's been nearly 10 years since Father died. She needs to move on.
Tell me something I don't know. In a way, I think my moving down here will do her some good. She'll realize she has a life to live on her own.
I certainly hope so. Has New York changed much?
You've been gone less than 4 months. How much could it have possibly changed?
You'd be surprised, Beau. Although, to tell the truth, I get the feeling this city will be almost unrecognizable in a few years. Just the way of the world, I suppose.
You really give me the heebie-jeebies when you get all philosophical like that, Alfie.
I'll see you around, Beau.
Righto.
Pardon the interruption, folks.
Huh? Oh, what can I do for you?
Pleasure to meet you, sir. And madam. My name is Alfred Banks, but please call me Alfie.
How do you do, Alfie? The name's Richard Burns, but everyone calls me Curly. Over there's my wife, Mabel Cody.
Pleasure's all mine, Mr. Banks.
Are you folks from down here originally?
Nah, we're just traveling around with our act.
Your act?
Sure, ain't you heard of Mabel Cody's Flying Circus?
I'm afraid I haven't. Please, tell me about it.
Why, it's the most exciting and daring show you'll see all year. We got a biplane which flies unbelievably low to the ground, and Mabel walks across the wings. We've been touring all across the state, impressing crowds in the hundreds.
Sounds exciting. Are you for hire?
Always. Who's interested?
Have you ever heard of George Merrick?
The guy who's developing this area? Sure.
Well, he's in need of a spectacle to entertain crowds he's planning on bringing in from out of state. I think your flying circus would fit the bill perfectly.
Sounds good. But don't forget about our little issues, Curly.
Ah, of course.
Is there a problem?
A couple, actually. But really, they're more minor setbacks than problems. Our pilot just quit to get married, so we haven't got anyone to fly our plane. Then there's the plane itself, which got a bit damaged during the last show. And of course, the small issue of requiring payment in advance. But we could still talk business. These are just minor setbacks that can be easily resolved, I'm sure.
You say you haven't got a pilot?
Well, at the moment, no. Like I said, our guy quit last week.
I heard there's a pretty good pilot in town, but we haven't been able to get a hold of him.
Oh, yeah, the Flynn or something like that. If we could get him on board, that would be just ducky.
What's wrong with your plane?
Nothing too serious. It's being worked on right now. The mechanic said it should be ready by next week.
I don't know if Mr. Merrick wants to wait that long. Where's the plane now? Maybe I can see about speeding up the process.
It's over at the airfield near Granada Boulevard.
About your payment.
Of course, of course. Our fee is $50 up front. That gets you a full show, which lasts 30 minutes.
I'm afraid I haven't got that kind of money on me. I'll have to ask Mr. Merrick about it.
Sure, not a problem. Just let us know when you've got the dough.
I appreciate your time.
No sweat, pal.
Hello there, my good man.
Yes, sir?
Curly and Mabel sent me to check up on things. How long before this beauty is up in the sky again?
Shouldn't be more than a week. I'm kind of stuck waiting right now. There isn't much else I can do at the moment.
What is it you're waiting on?
I have 2 parts on their way. One's a piece for the rudder, and the other's a magneto for the engine.
What about this magneto you mentioned?
The magneto for the ignition is damaged, and I'm waiting on a replacement to come in.
What sort of engine is it?
Curtiss OX5. Fairly common engine in these types of planes. Some boats, too. Unreliable piece of junk, really. But they mostly get the job done.
Any idea where I'd be able to get one?
Order from the manufacturer, like I did. Aside from that, any place where there's lots of planes or boats would have them in spades.
I think that gives me an idea. By the way, where is the magneto usually found on the engine?
Right at the bottom in front. Can't miss it.
How badly is the rudder damaged?
See for yourself. Looks like something took a bite out of it.
So what are you waiting on to fix it?
A new rudder top. Should be here in a few days.
Is there anything that might be used as a substitute?
Any decent-sized wooden plank would do in a pinch, sure.
You look awfully young to be an airplane mechanic. How long have you been doing this for?
6 months next week. But I've been working on planes since I was a kid. My father was an airplane mechanic during the war, see? So he taught me everything he knew.
I'll let you get on with it.
See ya.
Would you mind terribly if I borrowed one of your wrenches?
Not as long as you bring it back, I don't. I can't say I blame you for wanting to borrow it. That clunker looks like it needs to be serviced pretty soon.
Begging your pardon,
Yeah, what is it?
I feel this may be a silly question on my part, but are you a pilot?
Guilty as charged. Zachariah Flynn's the name, but everybody in the know calls me Flyboy.
In the know?
Sure, anyone with half a brain's heard of my heroic deeds during the war.
I suppose my brain must not be intact, because I've never heard of you.
Well then, allow me to enlighten you. During my first campaign, I was in a total of 57 dogfights, and I won every single one of them. I racked up 200 enemy kills and earned 17 Medals of Valor. Then I started my second campaign in 1915, where So that's basically a summary of my accomplishments.
Oh, yes. Fascinating. Are you a new member here? I've never seen you around.
No, I've just been away for a while. I don't know if you've heard, but there was this little thing called the Great War.
Sure, but that was 4 years ago.
I had other things to do before visiting this fair city again. When you get to be as famous as me, there's a lot of demand for your presence.
I have a business proposal for you.
Oh yeah?
I'm in need of a pilot for an air show that's being put together. Would you be interested?
That all depends. What's it pay?
That's a detail we can negotiate later on.
And what exactly happens in the air show?
You fly the plane, and Mabel Cody does wing walking and other stunts.
Mabel Cody, eh?
Yes, of Mabel Cody's Flying Circus. They've been touring all over Florida.
Sounds interesting, but I have one last question. Why on earth would a pilot of my skill and fame want to work for some podunk air show?
Because it's being sponsored by George Merrick and his Coral Gables project. Surely you've heard of that.
Of course, can't throw a rock in this town without seeing ads for it. He seems to be getting lots of people interested.
He is. Just think of what all those people will say when they see you in the show.
Okay, I'll be your pilot, but on one condition.
What's your condition?
I want to be the star attraction of your show. You'll have posters, right?
I would assume so, yes.
Right. I want them to make me out as the star.
I see. Any other requirements?
Well, now that you mention it, I want people to get excited when they hear my name. Also, the colors should make people think of the sky, like a sunset during a dogfight. And finally, I think they should be a manageable size so we can sell them to people and they can put them on their walls in their homes.
I'll see what I can do. I'll see you later.
Take care, Mac.
Here you go, Doc. One model streetcar ready to roll.
Thanks, Alfie. Sometimes I think I'd forget my own head if it weren't bolted on. Now come back in about a half an hour and join the crowd. When I ask for a volunteer, you get up here before any of the others get a chance. Then just follow my lead and we'll knock everyone's socks off.
Sounds easy enough. See you in a bit.
And in order to show off the amazing future of Coral Gables, I'll need a volunteer from the crowd. Who would like to assist me?
I'll do it.
Fantastic! Now, young man who I can assure everyone I have never seen before today, what is your name?
It's Alfie Banks, sir.
Well, Alfie, you look like a man with taste. A man who wouldn't think twice about moving into a luxury area like Coral Gables. And believe me, if you think it's something now, just wait until you see what the future holds. Come closer and let everyone in the crowd get a look. Now then, if you'd be so kind as to take this alligator clip and attach it to the positive terminal on that battery there. Fantastic. Now just wait 1 second while I get the model. And here we go. Gentlemen, behold the future of Coral Gables. The streetcar. What the? Ah!
Doc, are you all right?
Well, that certainly went off with a bang, didn't it? Show's over, folks. You can see yourselves out.
I don't understand what happened.
Seems the antenna on the model car touched the charged up pole and went kablooey.
But why would it do that?
Probably because some joker swapped the plastic antenna for this metal one with a wire.
Oh, I thought the model was battery powered.
No, it's a wind-up. The battery was just to impress the crowd. But it hardly matters. I set out to wow them, and that's exactly what I did. I mean, it could have gone better, but you did what you could. You can go ahead and get back to what you were doing before.
You're welcome? Would you be opposed to me taking your sign, Doc?
Take it. I'm sick of the sight of it.
George,
Yes, Alfie?
I think I may have found your spectacle.
Wonderful. What is it?
Mabel Cody's Flying Circus. She's a wing walker, does all kinds of stunts apparently.
Sounds like a terrific find. Well done.
There's just one thing. She and her husband require payment in advance.
I see. How much?
$50 for a 30-minute show.
Reasonable enough, I suppose. You'll have to take the money out of our business account. Just head over to the Bank of Coral Gables and tell them I sent you to withdraw the money.
That's all for now.